This podcast is part of the Soul Zone Network. Hello, hello, it's Molly
and Sara
from thebutterflyconnection.com.
We're all connected and we're not alone. What if you could rebirth your soul, spark movement in your life, and reconnect with your authentic self?
Join us each week as we connect with Source to answer the burning questions that lie deep within us and gain clarity and wisdom to soar to our greatest potential. Welcome to the Butterfly Connection,
where the kinetics of your soul will give you wings to fly.
This is BK26. I surrender. Hello, hello. It's Molly and Sara.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week, and we are so excited about the message we have for you today.
Yes, I am super excited about this message. It came to me last night very loud and clear, and what I'd love us to talk to you about today is to surrender to the higher power, to let go of what no longer serves us. In the past few podcasts, we've talked about truth-telling and self-realization, and once you realize what your truths are, then is the time to release all things that no longer serve us, everything that holds us back, any blockages we might have. It's time to surrender all of that so we can move forward.
Absolutely. And surrendering is such a key factor in being able to really let go of a situation, learn from it, and grow. And the interesting part is I think sometimes we forget about surrendering at all, because depending on what situation we're in, we can get ourselves so raveled up into it that depending on what it is, it can be so triggering to our feelings that we have difficulty sometimes just being able to step back from it and saying, okay, I surrender whatever it is I'm supposed to be getting from this situation, or I just surrender and then give it to God, give it to Source, give it to your angels, give it to your guides. And I'm in the thick of that right now. The crazy things going on. I just have a lot of crazy things going on in my life right now. Things are breaking, water damage under my door that needs fixed. My daughter's having some health problems. It's just, I feel like, a lot of people say, oh, it comes in threes. When it rains, it pours. You have all of these sayings for when things like that are happening. But at this point in time, I feel like, I don't know, I think mine are coming in 36s. I don't know. It's like every day. And I think it's like 36 a day. I don't know. Now, I will say, I am handling it significantly better in all of the work I have done on myself. I'm not really flipping out. I can honestly say my anxiety level is significantly better than it would have been even a year ago with it, but I'm kind of in this neutral stage right now. So it's happening and I'm going, okay, we got ants coming in the house. I'll call the pest control. I'll spray some peppermint oil. Okay, there's water damage. Who do we need to call? What do we need to do? My daughter needs some testing done. Okay, what do we need to do to have that happen? So I keep just thinking, okay, what do I just need to do so I can keep moving forward? But I haven't actually, in many ways, I've learned patience, but I haven't figured out the surrendering part. I haven't really surrendered and said, okay, what is the bigger picture in all of this? And this can pertain to things going wrong in our lives or even people who are in our life. When the same thing keeps happening over and over again, or there's similar situations that keep happening over and over again, there comes a time where we have to literally sit back and go, all right, I'm surrendering. I am willing to listen to whatever the bigger picture is here.
Yes, absolutely. And while Molly is having her 36 things happening over there, I am experiencing a lot of emotional baggage and emotional blocks and deep-seated things from my past coming up and trying to navigate what surrendering looks like in that way, with myself and with the people around me. And surrendering itself can be 100 different things. It's kind of like looking at your life and looking at your situation from the outside of the glass looking in, or being on the other side of the mirror watching your life. And it's like Molly said, you have to be able to see the bigger picture. But I really feel like surrendering, in order to do that, you have to pull yourself out of your own equation. You have to be able to look at it from that bigger perspective, not just so that you can say to yourself, okay, I need to surrender, but to ask yourself, what do I need to do to surrender? Because it's going to be different for everybody. So I have a couple of ways that we can all, I think, surrender. The very first thing is to calm your mind. What are some ways that you can calm your mind so that if you're having an anxiety moment, or if you're having a panic attack, or you're having a really, really crazy day, what can you do to pull yourself out of the situation if you can? You can go outside, you can meditate, you can just do deep breathing exercises, you can sit down and free write. You can even do something really mundane like let's count from 1 to 100. I've done that before having a panic attack. And it's like you can't even surrender until you can pull yourself out of it. Another way that you can surrender is by looking at the situation that you're in and seeing what it is that's going on from the other person's point of view, especially if you need to surrender in a situation where you are having complications with a relationship with someone else. And you can't really surrender to whatever it is that is hurting you or is painful in that relationship unless you can actually pull yourself out of it and you can see it from that person's point of view. It doesn't mean you have to agree with what they believe. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with how they feel. It just means that you have to see that they are in a different place than you. So it's like being able to look at everything really objectively. And this isn't an easy thing to do, but surrendering is about letting go of what you think should be. It's about letting go of how you think it should be, or how you think it should look, and releasing control. And I think that's the most important thing out of this is most times, why don't we surrender? Because in some way we feel like we still have control over a situation or over our life. And in essence, our higher power is in control. God is in control. And everything that we do in life has purpose and has reason, and we have free will, but in order to surrender, we need to surrender to that higher power.
I completely agree with what you're saying, and in terms of stuff happening in our lives and relinquishing the control, for me, it's the financial end of things, like letting go of the control that I am letting go of money. And I have to surrender to the idea that it's okay that I have to let go of money. The universe will always take care of me. You have to just trust and surrender and believe that the universe will always take care of you. And it generally always will. As long as you let go of control of finances it can be extremely difficult to see how the universe gives back to us. And it can be as simple as you found some coupons. Someone calls you up and says, hey, I need help with this. Do you mind doing this as a side job? I'll pay you a little bit extra. Just any little thing like that. Or, your birthday's coming up and everybody just magically seems to give you money for your birthday and there's extra money there. Sometimes we just have to understand and remember that it is all happening for whatever is best for us in that time.
Yes, totally get that. I have to do a better job with all of that as well. Surrendering financially is a hard one. And, as they say, let go and let God. I hear that a lot. And I struggle with that sometimes, though, because in giving advice to others, it's easy for us to say, well, it'll be okay. It'll work out. Just have faith. The only thing with that is you're externally telling that to somebody else. And what I'd like to talk about next is, how do you actually internalize surrendering? How do you actually come to a place of feeling as though what it is you want to do is actually occurring within you? How do you surrender? And I think it has to do first with love. Oftentimes, and I know this to be true for myself, when I'm in an anxiety, crazy panic attack, the last thing on my mind is love. The last thing on my mind is peace. The last thing on my mind is positivity, because I'm in a space where everything is just crashing down around me. But to internalize it, what if you were to say to whatever that is, whether it be something emotionally or something physically, I surrender to you with love. I surrender to you with light. I feel like that is the first step in being able to actually internalize surrender to its truest form. Because as I'm sure all of you know out there, it's easy to speak words, but it's difficult to act upon them. And surrendering is a very difficult step in soul growth, because it takes time to release, especially if you have wounds that are very deep, or you have a lot of things happening around you and you feel as though there is no end to it. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. The second thing I feel that's important is playing off of what Molly said. It's believing that things will get better. And that's a form of manifestation. Saying, okay, I know that I've got everything happening right now and I have no control over it, but how can I come to a place where I can believe it to be better than this? And with that comes visualization. So I want to do a visualization with you right now. I want you to pick one thing happening in your life right now. It could be an emotion. It could be a relationship with a person. It could be a situation. It could be something regarding your job. Whatever it may be, take a situation right now that you feel like you want to have control over but know that you don't. And I want you to close your eyes. I want you to see the situation in front of you. And now I want you to imagine that you have just surrounded it with this big, brilliant pink light. And that pink light is a representation of love. So you're going to visualize that. And the longer that you sit in this visualization, the pink light is going to get brighter and brighter and brighter until it's almost blinding to you. And then after you do that for a little while, then I want you to say out loud, I surrender to, and then I want you to fill in the blank. So I'll give you an example. I surrender to the situation of my car breaking down. So you're actually going to say those words. And then, after you have sat in that sentence for a moment, the next thing you are going to do is you're going to say, I know that, and then you're going to fill in the blank as to what you know is going to occur or happen after that situation has occurred. So, for example, I know that my car will get fixed and all will be well, and I will have it again and I will be able to drive it. So I just gave you a very simple example there. So pink light, then you have to say, I surrender, and then you say, I know. And you could also say, I believe, or I trust. And then at the end of the visualization, I want you to see that getting further and further and further away from you. And I just want you to give a little puff, a little puff of air and blow it away. So what that visualization really is doing is it's taking it out of you. It's taking it out of, not internalizing it anymore. And it's putting it in front of you. It's sending it love, and then it's sending it off into the great divide of light to source. And I feel like that if you could do this visualization, I know that if you can do this visualization, that you can empower yourself to let go and to let God.
Thank you so much, Sara, for that visualization. I know it was really helpful for me, and I will be using it every single time I am in the need of surrendering. So another part, and I feel like this is the next part in surrendering, is literally being able to embody it, to really feel what surrendering would feel like when you've decided it's time to surrender to whatever situation you're in. As I want you to take a deep breath and close your eyes and imagine, what does surrendering feel like? How does that feel in your body? And for me, it's a sense of peacefulness. It's a sense of inner knowing and trust that everything will work out. Really being able to feel and embody surrendering is the ultimate knowing that you are ready to surrender. Because there's so much work, and we've talked about all the work that you really need to do to get to really get to this place where you're setting the intention to surrender. But you have to see it, you have to set the intention, and you have to feel it. So when you are finally able to truly surrender within you, within your soul, then you will be able to see what the outcome really is meant to look like in the situation that you need to surrender for.
Yes, absolutely. And with that, you will feel a release of heaviness. It's like a burden is lifted when you start to feel what it is to truly feel surrender. And that could be an emotional burden, it could be anxiety, it could be panic, it could be sadness, it could be depression. There's so many things that could lift as you surrender and start to know and see that bigger picture happening and unraveling right in front of you. There is so much that we could learn after we surrender as well. Because really, you can't see what's going to happen on the other side of the rainbow until you've gotten to this point. And it's just so exciting and amazing to be able to surrender, because it's at that point in our life that I feel like we could truly fly, that we could truly see our authentic self, that we can truly reach our highest potential, or that we can even believe in the possibility of all of it happening. I have a mantra that could be something that you could even speak on a daily basis, and I just want to read it to you. When you have nothing left to give, surrender. When you realize your truths, surrender. When you understand what you need to do next, surrender. And when you surrender to the higher power, fly.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And so really this week, we encourage you to find those situations in your life where you feel as though no matter what you're doing, no matter how hard you try, no matter how you're trying to control the situation, let go of the control and surrender. And just imagine this. The more we start to surrender to situations, the easier it is to continue to surrender to situations. And the easier it becomes to surrender to situations, we will then be capable to just surrender to life and allow life to take its course in the way that we are meant to truly be living it. And as we surrender, we are going to be able to see more clearly all of the things that did not make sense to us in those moments when we were trying to control them. It's amazing how much clearer you can see when you surrender. So let's start working on surrendering one step at a time.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us this week. We hope you have a fantastic week, and please remember to check out our Soul Reflection Challenge. We post a new guided journal every single week, and we will definitely have one for this week, and you can find that through our website, through our show notes, and you can also just go to soulreflectionsacademy.teachable.com.
Yes, and please sign up and follow us on Instagram and Pinterest and join our Facebook group, The Butterfly Connection. We would love to have you in there. We are always posting some topics of choice that we would love to have you engaging in all of your wonderful words of wisdom and growth as well. So thank you again for listening to us.
Have a wonderful week.
Thank you for listening to The Butterfly Connection with Molly Ray and Sara Courtney.
Look for Soul Reflections Academy on our website, thebutterflyconnection.com, and sign up for our free Soul Reflection Challenge.
We would love to hear from you. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and Google Play and give us a review. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest.
And join us next week for another soul-connecting conversation.